distinction from because the YouTube videos, Edrice videos, are like, they're all like the same kind of brand. They're like, Travel Adventure, or like, Super Intense Nature, or like, there's a bunch of weird ASMR stuff on there. So if people are capitalizing, you're like, oh yeah, yes, it's literally like, I'm gonna scratch your head. So people are figuring it out, but I feel like it's wide open. There's hardly any videos. It's just like
those aren't cheap.
No, they're not cheap. It's just like if you wanted to get on that gravy train, it's now or never. Although I gotta say, my friend who works for Meta, I don't know if I should probably use this, but it's mostly just like it's hard to get people into the headset. It's just like it's like a device for like you have to convince people to buy it, use it, they log into all the shit, and then there's kids in there. It's like it's a weird thing to do. It's for me it's super overstimulating. So I can really only do it for like half an hour and then I'm just like I think I'm gonna have to see it, but I've had fun. It's weird. Yeah. So there's a lot. I think that there's a lot of barriers to entry that make it hard to like expand the thing. Which I think is interesting because it's very untapped and it's like only because it's weird to work into one of the weirdest things I like about it is like just the way it makes my brain feel.
Now?
Yes. I don't know if I have time for this. You open up an app, you're in like the AR setting, you can see the room you're in, and then the app like pops like a chair on a flat screen. You can walk around behind that flat screen and see it. It's floating in space, and when you walk away from it, it's very left. It's like anchored in space. And if you walk out of the room and turn around, you can see where it is through. And it makes me feel like I can see through the rest of my because my brain like plugs into the signals and it's really, really weird. I really don't know how to do it.
Hey everybody, good evening and welcome to CSC Portland. Stand Up Section Sunday. We're really glad you're here. Aaron and Johanna are here to serve all of your alcohol and non-alcoholic and sugar needs. You can do that anytime during the show. We do apologize for the fact that there's not enough refrigerant in our AC system. 2 of the 3 repairs have happened. The third one just didn't get done before the weekend. So it's kind of working, but not keeping up. So we're going to be pulling outside air, and it's about even now, and it might get a little cooler. So if you all are great fans, but we have 5 other fans working for you tonight as well. So that's cool. We prefer this to be a non-heckling space and supportive space, if that's at all possible. A lot of, I think, stand-up culture has been, yeah, exactly. And some of that's leaking into the room right now. Thank you, Philippe. All right, so 4 great comics tonight, and our host is a veteran of 43 and a half years of touring. I guess that number every time I introduce him. He's also a former radio host on KPOJ, Air America, and KPAM. He's a wonderful man. He's a great teacher. He'll talk a little bit about classes tonight. You should take them. There are probably some students in tonight's audience, and I think they generally feel pretty good about it. Yeah. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Carl Wolfson.
Thank you, Patrick. Patrick, he and Ruth have run this place successfully for 30 years in Portland. Unbelievable. That long, and this is my 45th year of comedy. Yeah.
Okay, I'll get it right.
Thank you. We're getting old, Patrick, so, you know. I started in 1980 when the Koch brothers were Jim and John Belushi. That's how That's how long ago that is. I'm actually so old now, my husband wants to replace me with Kamala Harris. All right, that's the show. You've had enough. My husband Gary is here tonight. Thank you. 27 years together. Can you imagine? Yeah. We just got a dog like 9 months ago, Roxy. She's a great dog. She's little, she's very willful. We took a 6-week doggy school class. She didn't learn shit. It was worse on us. When Gary was like up and down and around and twirling, it's like sex for me in the 80s. It was like, God, what a memory. I think being old has some advantages. You get senior discount. You don't get that yet, do you, Patrick? All right.
Yes, I do.
Do you get the senior discount?
Yeah.
Also, let's see, my SAG-AFTRA dues are free. I've reached a certain age. I don't have to pay those anymore. No more jury duty for me. Isn't that great? I never did it anyway. I had the most foolproof excuse. I would, you get called every 2-3 years. I think every 3 years. I would walk into the jury pool downtown and immediately yell, "Lars Larson is guilty!" And, which was true, but I got excused. It was good. Do you know who Lars Larson is? No. Okay. Have you heard of juries? Oh my God. Trying to lose weight, and that's a struggle. It's a struggle for anyone but me? I'm the only one, huh? Fuck you. Come on. I can see the audience. I did give up fast food. That's pretty cool. Remember my last trip to Burger King a few years ago, I ordered a burger. The woman behind the counter gave me the burger. And she said to me, "Would you like to contribute to cancer research?" So I gave her back the burger. And we have a neighbor, Andy, who's 75, very funny. He doesn't even need my class. He's very funny. He's always got a put down for me, which I admire. I do. I told him a couple weeks ago, I said, "Andy, I've lost 20 pounds and I look great." He goes, "Those are two different things, Paul." Didn't even need the class. Speaking of young people and speaking of class, we have 4 of our, I think, best students. All the students are great. I've been teaching here for 2 years. I say they're great because they start at point A, and in 7 or 8 weeks they go on a stage, maybe for the first time, and do an amazing job. And it's a hard thing to put yourself out there on stage. And Bill DiStefano, who's right in the front row, will be on our next second Sunday, and Catherine Cushing, who's here tonight. They'll be on the August second Sunday. So this is a great chance for my students to showcase, make a little bit of money, so that you'll be professionals. And they're also very young, which makes me feel so much older, and I appreciate that. Yeah, it is. I'll tell you about being older a little bit more after our first guest. We have Na Wen on the show. I'm going to introduce her. She is Japanese-American heritage, and we have Edrice Wahed, who is from Germany. We have Philippe Tibet, who is from Lebanon, and we have Calvin Jennings, who's a happy white guy, which you don't see. You don't see that a lot these days. So. But we're going to start out with Na. She's just wonderful, and we're going to have a great time tonight. I know the world's a difficult place for everybody right now, but we're going to pack that away and have some good laughs tonight. Please welcome Na Wen, ladies and gentlemen. Na.
Hello, my name is Na. Like, can I take you home? Nah. And I know maybe you might know not know the difference, Carl, between Asians, but I'm actually Vietnamese. So, my day job, so currently, right now I'm 34 at this stage in my life where most of my friends are married or they are and 10-year relationship. So I'm one of the only single ones that are still left out here in the streets. And the number one question I always get asked is, why are you single? And honestly, there's just so many things about dating and men that just give me the ick. So my day job is I'm a realtor, and I sell in Portland, Oregon, and whenever I tell people that, they ask me if I sell tents. And you guys know how it was like 100 degrees, so I was like showing houses and that, and I went to get my hair done to see my hair girl. And I was just telling her like, hey, my scalp's like really dry and like flaky. And she looked at me, at my scalp, and was like, girl, it's pink, it's burnt. And I came to realize that I spend my days negotiating contracts, talking to big investors, being all professional during the day. And then at night, I go on stage and tell dick jokes. Not sure if anyone wants that as a wife. I'm like that Zillow listing that's been in the market for 1,000 days. One that has had multiple price reductions and photo updates. And when you finally get a chance to tour the home, you're like, okay, this is a really weird layout. Makes sense now. So my parents are getting really concerned that I'm like not married. So my dad has taken it upon himself to search for my husband at his ping pong club. My mom is searching at her doctor's appointments. So my mom is really big on my airport outfit. You know, she thinks that I was meeting my husband on the plane. But the last time I saw like a hot guy on the plane, he was already someone else's husband. Or it would be like both of us are flying Spirit, and it's like we can't both be starving artists here. Like that's not gonna work out. And my mom sat me down and she was like, look, at this point, it's okay if you're lesbian. Like, we will accept you. And then dating in this generation is so tough. Like, we're all taking what we can get here. And I'm starting to date guys that are like 40 and above, thinking that they're like more mature. And even then, they're like not ready to settle down, and they just want to be friends with benefits until they get like Social Security. And I just tell my friends that are in relationships, I'm like, stay with your man. Don't be all curious out here, okay? The grass is not greener on the other side, it's dead. And then lately I've been meeting guys that would like ask me like what my sign is. And I'm like, wow, guys are the ones that are asking now if I'm like a water sign or fire. Like, I don't know, okay? I match best with the dollar sign. And then like, honestly, I don't really believe in that stuff because my ex and I were the same sign. And like, he was evil and I'm like a sweetheart, so we're like not the same. And then, I don't know if it's the recession or if guys spend all their money on the top tier girls. So when it comes to me, they have like $5 left or $0. So I get asked to go on a lot of park walk dates. For food, McDonald's as a first date. And whether my Happy Meal gets paid for depends if I'm going to provide a happy ending. And the last time I said no to the happy ending, I received a Venmo request for $3.99. And then, like, you know, when I like actually go out on these dates, right? I'll spend an hour to like look like my picture. And then, like, I realized they like never compliment me on my appearance. they just talk about how I'm funny. So I'm just like, wow, I definitely was a personality pick. And then, like, guys, they take forever to respond these days. Like, I'm talking to this fuckboy. He responds every 4 days, so I have to respond every 5 to 7. And it just takes like a really long time to get to know each other. And then I like meet these like full-time day traders / crypto kings that were once millionaires that are now homeless living under the bridge. And I'm just like, no, you cannot have a tent. You're gonna need to buy one like everyone else. And then I'm not really into guys with like the face portrait tattoos. I met a guy with like a huge face portrait tattoo of his mom like right here. And I understand the dedication is beautiful and all, but honestly it's really creepy. I felt like however I was moving, she was like staring at me. And those eyes, they do not shut off at night. Can you imagine doing adult things to her son? Like, mama is watching. At this point, you're having a threesome with the mom. Ew. And then, like, dating coaches, they always talk about how you need to look within your friend group. You know, there might be that one nice guy that might have potential. So I tried this with my guy BFF, and I got very drunk one day. I was like, okay, drunk me with beer goggles, ultimate test. And as I was looking at him, I was just like, still not seeing it. Still ugly. So my friend tried to introduce me to a guy, and after looking at his picture, I was like, you bitch. Where are his teeth? She was like, he has airline benefits that's harder to find than teeth. That will make up for it. I'm like, no, it doesn't. And I just think about how like people introduce their friends to like a prince or a billionaire. And like, this is the best my friends can do for me, seriously. And then, you know those guys, or whenever you say that anything is big, they're like this dick. So those are the guys with the micro D. It is false advertising. It's kind of community service, and some of us have already given back to that community. And then, like, on top of dealing with, like, all these things that I, like, describe about men, right, as a single person, you deal with, like, your friends and family, like, the joke's always on you. So, like, my friend was like, oh, what should we get Nah for Christmas? And my other friend was like, a boyfriend, something she doesn't have. And it's like, you don't see me saying, like, maybe we should ask Santa for some loyalty for Christmas, something your relationship doesn't have. And then, so, like, I bought a band for myself for my middle finger, because as a single person, to me, that's like our ring finger. And tell me why, okay? My cousin asked her boyfriend to buy the same exact band, and then she came to me and was like, my boyfriend bought this for me. I didn't have to buy it like you did by yourself because you're single. So I responded, I was like, and I didn't have to suck dick for 10 years to get a band and ring without a diamond on it. Like, you're not that cool. And then, you know, I feel like all my like friends and family like watch my every move like a spy. Like, I posted a picture of like my food, and there was like kind of like a hand in it, like an older hand. So my friends are like, ooh, new sugar daddy? I'm like, I'm eating with my dad, let me live. And then instead of getting text of like, oh, how are you doing? I get text like, oh, how's dating? And like they're expecting like a, like really juicy story or a story about how like a fuckboy ruined my life. And I just respond and I'm just like, how's your relationship? How's fighting? Any new fights this week? And then there's like the bachelorette parties, girls trips, right? And like in Vegas, where we're at the club. And since I'm like the only single one, I'm like the one that gets sacrificed to these like weird old nerdy like finance dudes. So that we can get free drinks and a table to sit at. So I'm like over here like getting grabbed. Okay, and I have to act like these dudes are like so cool. And like my friends are just sitting there, like drinking all their alcohol, taking pictures, and I just feel like it's not fair. And then I get asked to go on these like couples trips. My friend invited me to go to Florida for a 26-mile marathon. And I'm like, you want me to fly across the country to run? And she's like, it's gonna be 5 couples plus you. So I was like, okay, so who am I staying with? She's like, you need to figure it out. All the couples have their own room. And I'm just like, okay, so now I have to put out and find a stranger so I have a home for the weekend? Like, I'm not doing that. And like, since like I've been to therapy, like, I'm gonna take some accountability here. Like, maybe it's me, maybe, like, And I've been through some things, like I've been through a lot of relationship issues, situation trips, whatever the fuck you call it nowadays. And like anything that you can imagine, like a guy can do to someone, I've probably been through it. I've had a man steal my man. Lost my boyfriend to a stripper. The fake boobs really, won him over. Like I don't have much going on up here, so I get it. And then there's like the female best friend stuff. Oh Lord, they're like, oh my gosh, she's just a friend, you're overreacting. But they're like kissing and sleeping over, and she went from Wendy to Winston on his phone. Like, okay. And then you know how like you can share location on the phone? So this guy accidentally shared his location when he was drunk. And he was like telling me like, oh, don't come over. Because I'm at my grandma's house, and I'm like looking at the phone. I'm like, okay, homie's at home though. So he probably had like that girl over, the one he told me not to worry about, like. And I was just like watching him, like I tried to call him actually, and to like catch him in the act, but he obviously didn't answer. So I just watched him like walk out to the parking lot to probably walk out, and then like FaceTime me when he was walking back into his apartment, pretending like he was like coming back from his car. And I was like, oh, what are you, a paid actor now? And because of all these things I've been through with men, like now when I talk to a guy and he doesn't respond in 2 hours, my immediate response is like, who are you fucking? And like because of this, like my FBI skills are really on a new level, okay? Like, I will find out everything. Just give me 30 minutes. I will give you a full report. And, something that guys really hate too is that, like, instead of going to couples therapy when I'm going through relationship problems, ever since I started stand-up, I'll talk about it here on stage. And, like, I don't see like there's anything that's wrong with that. Like, I'm helping people learn what not to do. Like, I'm saving lives. And then, like, I'm like that girl where if I have a dream about my partner cheating, the attitude and war starts the moment I open my eyes. Okay, like it's not my fault you did what you did. Who is she? We don't know who that is. Okay, like. And I knew one day that I had some serious problems when my own therapist ghosted me like a fuckboy. She was probably like, fuck this bitch, she can't be saved. And the more I think about it, I'm just like, maybe I have to agree. And you're probably wondering, do I have a closing joke? Nah. Thank you, everyone.
Now wait, ladies and gentlemen. Sounds so fun to be single. Keep it going for nah, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, 27 years. Gary, so great. I've noticed I've moved down a few pegs in the relationship. Now it's the dog is number one. I think our new car is next. The kid on the roof in Butler, and then me. Okay, too soon. Or not soon enough. I just wanted to see who would laugh at that. It's all... Patrick, you're grinning a little bit. Come on, grassy knoll, it happens. All right. So, Gary is younger than me. Fuckboy. My version of a fuckboy. He's in better shape. He climbed Mount St. Helens. Give it up for him. I was so inspired the next day I made it halfway up Mount Tabor. My Sherpa quit. It was... You notice the important thing, you can't get a good Sherpa anymore. You can't even get a response from the city council on the lack of Sherpas here. I don't know, but it's all really good, and we're very happy. I actually, after I was 10 years on the radio, I was looking for things to do with my life. Teaching comedy has been wonderful. It's been incredible. But I became a caregiver for 5 years for elderly women. Same amount of applause as for the potential assassin. Thank you. That was pretty equal right there. Thank you, Calvin. I had my favorite 5 years, I had Patty, and she was, the great thing about really old people is they have no social filter anymore. They just, I was the second week I was there, I went once a week, she was over at Providence House, and she said, all the women in the building, I told them I have a male caregiver. And I said, oh, that's nice, Patty. She said, they all wanted to know if you were handsome. And I said, oh, that's nice. What'd you say? She goes, so it's like, a real interesting character, though. She's close to 90, still spunky, but she was Rain Man. Anybody actually known a real Rain Man? Idiot Savant, I guess they're called? You had your hand like halfway up?
You said actually no.
Actually no. But she would, literally, I go in, she'd tell me all the TV shows, like Judge Wapner, it's just like the freaking movie. And she was so ordered, it was like, just, you had to be very careful. So in 2020, when we had to do the clock change in April, I was there she had me change the clocks, and I did it wrong. It's spring forward, fall back, I forget it, so I set the clocks back instead of forward. Next day I was taking her at a doctor appointment. This is the worst thing you can do to a savant, is change up their fucking clock by 2 hours. I pulled up in front of the building, she comes with a walker. You set my clocks wrong! You set my clocks wrong! All up and down Burnside. It was pretty amazing. I got her in the car, I said, Patty, it's sorry, you set my clocks wrong! So I calmed her down, I said, Patty, back, I'll set your clocks right, it'll be all right. She was like rocking the whole trip. We go to Broadway Medical Center, we check her in, she's sitting there with a woman on one side, an older woman on the other, we sit down, she looks at the first woman, he set my clocks wrong! I was like, that's me. A couple minutes later, she looked at the other woman, he set my clocks wrong! That's me. About that time, Guy came in, about 40 years old, jeans, wasn't wearing a mask, and tried to check in, and the attendant said, you have to wear a mask. He went fucking ballistic, screaming, cursing. Security guard came over, said, sir, you put your mask on or you go. And he's screaming at the guy, almost got thrown out. He throws his mask on, cursing, sits down, and the women and me were like this. You don't know if this guy has a gun or anything. About 20 seconds later, Patty goes, he set my clocks wrong! It was a day in my life with Patty. Somehow I like working with older people. I had one summer in college, I worked at a nursing home as an orderly, and funny people are older people are funny, generally. We had this one guy, Mr. Daly, and I had to change his catheter bag every day. He said the same joke every day. It's not mine, is it yours? My dad was 93 in a nursing home. I called him on January 1st. I said, Dad, did you stay up for New Year's? He goes, no, we had a fake countdown at 8:59 and everyone was in bed by 9:01. So I'm glad to be around young people for a change. And our next comedian he's so great. And I think he's taken 4 or 5 classes with me and just gets funnier every time. What I love about so many of my students, especially Edrice, is they're so smart, the way they look at the world. Please welcome Edrice Wahed, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey everyone, my name's Edrice, and recently I've been wrestling with a strange conundrum. That, well, I think it'd be fun to be a dad. I don't want to be a father. And I realize that sounds a lot like saying I want to be an ass, not a butt, but there is a difference. Like a lot of things these days, I think fatherhood exists on a spectrum from dad to father. There's just like a different energy about those two. Like, take a dad joke, for example. Like a plastic, sleepy toddler in the back of a Dodge Caravan going, Dad, I'm tired. Only to be met with, hey, tired, I'm Dad. A dad joke will make you want to die inside, but they don't hurt you. A father joke, on the other hand. A father joke sounds a lot like that time you told your dad, your father, rather, that instead of going to college, you want to drop out and pursue your passions. And he goes, well, that wasn't in the plan, but I just want you to know, no matter what you do, where you go, or what you become, your mother will always love you. Father jokes cut deep. Same parental figure, but like a dad joke, you're gonna like 30 years down the road be throwing those at your own kids. 30 years down the road, a father joke, you're still gonna be dissecting with your therapist. Speaking of figures, the dad bod. That charming figure of a man that's given up what he loves for who he loves. Has given up running to watch his kids run. The body of a man that can be relied upon during Thanksgiving dinner to unbuckle his belt to make room for dessert. On the other hand, father takes off his belt. Indiana Jones at home is a tough watch. Yeah, it's dark. That's not where we want to go. We're talking about bodies. So we have on one hand the dad bod, on the other hand there is the father body. And I'm sure just hearing that, something comes to mind, and I am sorry. In my mind, father body is that thing that you saw that morning you woke up before you were supposed to, and saw something you weren't supposed to see. It's that Sasquatch strolling out of the bathroom. The moment you discover that hair and fat grows everywhere. That you too might someday be right at home in a found footage film. The difference between a dad bod and a father body belongs on unexplained mysteries. But we could do this all day. There's all kinds of fun differences here, but let's just go straight to the top. Like, I'm not religious, but take the Heavenly Father, for example. Guy that wants you to come by his house once a week, pay tribute, under his roof, knows exactly how you should be living your life and all the ways in which you're not quite measuring up. Classic father. On the other hand, like, there's gotta be a holy dad, right? Like, you think about Jesus roaming with his buddies, growing his hair out, turning water into wine, doing fun tricks like that. Like, that guy's gotta have a cool dad up there looking out for him. Like, holy dad is that guy that even those of us who don't believe reach out to in moments of extreme inconvenience. Or it's like, I know it's been a while, but I don't ask for much, which for those of us who don't call our parents that often, like, we know that's a wash. I don't ask for much, but right now it'd be really nice. A miracle even if I could just get these Taylor Swift tickets and not pay the resale price. Like, you're on the wrong side of Holy Father, like, you're going to hell. But Holy Dad just wants you to check in once in a while, make sure you're doing well. I think ultimately what it boils down to is responsibility. I think a dad is really there to be a cheerleader, to be supportive, a confidant. Whereas a father is more about helping a kid find their way in the world, figure out right from wrong, and often do a really bad job at it. I appreciate that doesn't make what I said at the beginning make me sound all that great. Like, he just wants to have all the fun and none of the responsibility, which is objectively true for everyone. Like, if tomorrow they invented a shitless baby, everyone would be turning in their shitty babies for shitless ones. And if you're having a hard time getting on board with that, it's the same baby and there are no adverse effects to it being shitless. It's just a better baby. No, those responsibilities, that's not where I get tripped up. I think part of being a father is making some hard decisions and looking at the world and thinking about what kind of world you're bringing your kid into. And the reality is, I don't feel so great about the world. Like, I remember when I was a kid, and the things that kept me up at night. Like, I was born in Germany, moved here with my family when I was 8 years old to Eugene, Oregon, which was already devastating enough. But the first movie I saw, courtesy of my uncle, was Twister. If you guys haven't seen Twister, it's a movie about a bunch of scientists chasing tornadoes. It's crazy. I remember watching this movie and being like, in Germany there are no such things like these giant cyclones descend from the sky to pluck you out of bed in the middle of the night. Like, the panic I felt when I realized the home we moved into didn't have like one of those cellars with the double doors. I remember turning to my mother and be like, Mother, why did we come here? Why did we leave Germany where nothing bad ever happened? Don't worry, I got an education after that. But it didn't stop there. That was the beginning of my fear of disaster. Turns out we moved to a place right along the Pacific Rim of Fire, which is one of the most volcanically active parts of the world. And if you ever forget about that on like a bright blue Portland day, you can like see Mount St. Helens with its head chopped off when it blew back in 1980. As a kid, kids were bringing in like the ashes for show and tell. There was no escaping the fact that we had moved to a dangerous place. And of course, with volcanoes comes earthquakes. And not just any earthquakes. Apparently, we moved to a place where we're due for like the biggest earthquake ever. Fittingly called the Big One. And to this day, like on a morning when the garbage truck rolls in like a little too hot and the windows start rattling, I'm like, all right, this is it. This is my moment. I have made my bed in an unreinforced masonry building, and now I'm going to die in it. Like, I remember the first time I heard the songs of a band whose lyrics I couldn't understand, but their name I got was Earth, Wind, and Fire. And I was so confident that we shared a common set of core concerns. Oh, but the 90s, ripe for disaster movies. There was Armageddon, where we sent oil riggers turned astronauts to save us from a giant asteroid that would kick us out the way the dinosaurs went out. The twin movie, Deep Impact, where basically the same plot. I just remember being so scared at night that one of these things would just materialize and end it all. And looking back now, those fears all feel so silly in retrospect. Like, I remember the first time I heard about global warming, and that did not keep me up at all. I was like, the grown-ups know about it, they're talking about it, we have a plan. We have 20 years to do something about this. And as a kid, that's a lifetime and change. That is an eternity. There's no way. We're good. And then I grew up. And we kind of didn't do anything about it. Like, we hit those points of no return, like moved them a couple times, and we're breaking records you're not supposed to break. And man, some weird stuff happened along the way. Like, you guys remember about a year ago when aliens and UFOs, now UAPs, were like all the rage again, and we all had that one friend who sent us way too many texts because they were so deep into it. I remember being like, you know what? I hope aliens are real. I hope that those little guys make an appearance. Because I would love to see them try to do to people what people do to people better than people do it. Those guys lost their fangs over the past few decades. Like, what are they gonna do? Terraform the planet? Slowly make it uninhabitable for humans? We've been working that plan for at least 2 decades. Install a puppet as the leader of the free world who's just completely incompetent? Yep, we did that, and a bunch of us want an encore. And what else they got? Engineer a really deadly and contagious virus? Yeah, we did that back in 2019. And not only did we do that one, like when everyone finally had a chance to actually do something personally, and doing something was just doing nothing, half of us were like, that's not gonna work with my plans. Kind of feels like at this point, the worst crime aliens could commit against humanity is plagiarism. Oh man, I remember 1996, Independence Day had just come out. There's an iconic scene of the saucer over the White House, and it's got the little iris thing at the bottom that like slowly opens up, and this laser beam just like obliterates the White House. It's terrifying. I can't help but feel that, like, if that were to happen next year, it would be a tragedy for sure. Well, I've discovered very recently that, like a lot of things, tragedy exists on a spectrum. And like while that iris is like opening up and like the laser beam is charging, I'd be like, this is gonna be sad. This is gonna be so sad. But who's sitting inside? I gotta know. I appreciate all this sounds like I'm a little jaded. That's fair. But the truth is, I want this to work out. I am 100% team. I hope this works out. I want everyone that wants a shitless baby to get their beautiful shitless baby. And more personally, I recently had the wonderful joy of becoming an uncle. And turns out, all the fun, none of the responsibility. Fantastic. And for his sake, I really hope that we get our shit together. I want there to be a safe, bright, beautiful future for him. So that one day, when he's 8 years old, I get to show him the classic movie Twister. Not feel bad about it. Thanks guys, that's me.
Dean Carl, ladies and gentlemen. Edrice. I love it. Has your dad seen your stand-up?
Not in a while.
How about your father? Has he? One more time for Edrice. You know, for gay people coming out to their parents, when I came out to my dad, he's actually the last person in my family I came out to. And he said to me, I said I was gay, and he said, you know, I've always known since you were a little boy, and I have always loved you. My mother, my mother's reaction was this: Mom, I'm gay. Well, at least you're no Ted Bundy. Honest to God gospel was like mass murder gay son. Which she followed up with, well, we didn't have homosexuals in the 1950s. I said, well, somebody put the fins on those Cadillacs. Somebody did those beehive hairdos. We had a friend, a lesbian friend named Jenny, who also has a right-wing mother, also in Florida. She came out to her mother's a lesbian. Her mother goes, there's always like, what's next, Jenny? Heroin? Lesbianism, the gateway drug. Their moms and then their mothers. Motherfuckers. All right. Joining us now, how about a hand for Edrice and I'm sorry, you are a Vietnamese American, are you not?
Yeah, Vietnamese.
Vietnamese?
Then I'm not,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I said a different thing. But we both like fuckboys, so.
I don't like them.
You don't like them?
No, no.
Oh, I hate them. Joining us now, he's so much fun in class. I think this is the second time you've taken my course. Just brilliant and funny, and originally from Lebanon. Please welcome Philippe, Tibet, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, everyone? Whoa. Sorry. What's up, everyone? Good to see you guys. Man, I just want to get something out the way really early. I'm an Arab. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little nervous, and I just wanted you guys to be nervous too, so now that that's out there, we can get started. Sorry, it's been a bit of a long day for me. I spent too much time in the sun. Anyway, yeah, I am an Arab. I know what you guys are thinking. There's no way that this Luigi-looking motherfucker is an Arab. I am an Arab. My parents are from Lebanon. Lebanon, the country, not sweet home Lebanon, Central Oregon. That will not count as being an Arab. Don't get any ideas. For those who don't know, Lebanon's famous for a few things. We're famous for great food, hot women, and also being successful everywhere we go, like the Jews. And the reason why I tell you guys that is that, growing up, there was always this pressure on me from my father to be successful and to be great at everything that I do. And when I was a kid, he was like, Philou, you are going to be entertainer. You're very entertaining. When I bring friends at home, you will make jokes for them. I was like, okay, cool. So by any means necessary, I will make these people laugh. And when I was 7 years old, he would have friends over and he would call me. He would say, Philou, ta'ala hon, Uncle Farid has come. Come make a joke for him. And so I would come and I would make jokes and I would be like, hi, Uncle Farid. What's the difference between unlawful and illegal? Unlawful is against the law and illegal is a sick bird. Calvin always loves that joke. No one else really likes that joke, and that's the point. Even when the jokes were not good, I had to be funny. And so I was like, any means necessary, right? And I had something in my back pocket at all times. And that was, I'd run up the stairs, turn around, pull down my pants, showing everyone my ass. Now, that was a great joke and it worked for years. But eventually my father said to me, Philou, your gimmick getting a little bit old. Maybe you try something new. And that's when I signed up for Carl's class. Yeah, so anyway, being great is a big priority in my life, and I thought, look at all these athletes, these people that I look up to, what makes them great? What have they done to be great? And the answer I found is that they've always gone through a lot of adversity, a lot of trauma. And so I thought to myself, okay, so what is the adversity and trauma that I've had to overcome in my life? And I thought about it, and I lived in Salt Lake for a couple years, but I don't think that counts. Then I thought about it some more, and I'm going to open up with you guys here, so please, be respectful and don't judge me too much. But, COVID, something that we can all get behind, COVID was a hard time. A lot of death, a lot of sickness. I lost my grandfather. But by far, the worst part of COVID was that all the direct flights from Portland to Miami were canceled. And so that when I wanted to go on holiday, I had to go through Minneapolis, and that's just no way to start the holiday. You know what I mean? You guys you're not resonating with this kind of stuff. Okay, that's fine. Man, let me think about some other things. Delta changed their membership program last year. Have you guys heard about this? I went from a platinum medallion status to a gold medallion status, and that really rocked my world. I didn't know if I was ever going to bounce back from that, because the free bags, the upgrades, the lounge access is pretty clutch. So that really rocked me for a sec, but thankfully they've changed the rules back and I'm back into platinum. Thanks. You guys are like, what the fuck is going on? Okay, you guys will like this one. So when I was 21, I went to the movies and I fell in love with the lead actress of a movie. And I managed to weasel my way into a party that I knew she was going to be at. And I dressed up, put some cologne on, I started hitting it off with her. I thought, yeah, tonight's the night, I'm going to make her mine. A few hours later, I see her leaving the party with someone on her arm. I was disappointed. The person she left with was a 5-foot-tall power lesbian. And that was difficult for me. But where the real trauma lies is that power lesbian was my sister. And now they're married. But the good news is, I was able to tell this story at the wedding, and I got a ton of laughs, and I didn't have to show my ass, so that was huge. A few years ago, I got diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, and I thought, yes, if this thing doesn't kill me, it might be the adversity I need to get to the next level, you know what I mean? It's called Hashimoto's. And I thought, wow, Hashimoto's, maybe I'll turn into a tiny Japanese man, that would be awesome. It's not the case. It's not the case. It's actually a potentially fatal disease. So I went to the doctor and I asked her, I said, hey, how long do I have to live? She said, no, you'll be okay. Just take this pill, stay away from gluten, and you'll be just fine. And I thought, man, not only am I not gonna die, but now I'm just like every other Portland asshole that doesn't eat gluten. That sucks. So it was at this point that I realized there's not enough adversity in my life. You know, the world is conspiring against me. They don't want me to be great. They don't want me to have any adversity. So I started seeking out the adversity. I started listening to David Goggins, Joe Rogan, getting inspired, you know? I kept on hearing it every day, callous your mind, stay hard, blah, 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 go in the sauna. And I thought, you know what, I will go in the sauna. I will go in the fucking sauna. And so I said to myself, hey you. And then I said to myself, okay, cool, maybe if I cook myself a little bit every day, that would bring out some adversity in my life. And so I did it. I went to the sauna. I set the timer on for 30 minutes. It was at 185. It was hot as hell. And you know, the first 10 minutes or so are actually decent. You're kind of enjoying it. And then after a while, you get a little bit uncomfortable. And I started to think, shit, this is what it must feel like to not have AC at home. What a way to live. I can only imagine. Then a few more minutes passed, and I could start to see the beads of sweat forming on my hands and forearms. And I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. With each bead of sweat that leaves me, I can feel the privilege just exiting my body. I was like, this is awesome. This is good for me. I can do this. A few more minutes go by. I start seeing double. I start seeing triple. And I pass out. No, I don't pass out. I just let myself out because I can. And then I get into the cold plunge. All right, the cold plunge is at 35 Fahrenheit, and I set the alarm for 6 minutes. Man, I'm in this thing. First minute's not bad because you're kind of coming back to like baseline. But after that, it gets real uncomfortable. My feet started getting really cold, and I thought, wow, this is what it must feel like to not have heated floors at home. What a fucking disaster that would be. A few more minutes go by. I'm really struggling here, but you know, thankfully I've watched hours of TikTok breathing videos to get me through. And eventually my body went numb. I looked at my hands and feet, they were all white. I looked at my dick, it had gone. Totally disappeared. It was inside. Anyway, I get out of the cold tub. I go back into the into the sauna to like thaw myself out a little bit. Get my phone out, start documenting the whole thing to put it on Instagram naturally, of course. You know, I put it on there, @tag Joe Rogan, @tag David Goggins, #stay hard, #callous your mind. And then there's two reasons why I would post this on Instagram. The first one being, I want to show people that I can do difficult things. That's important for me. Like, I want you to know that I can do hard shit. The second point is, I want you to know that I have a sick backyard. That's super important for me. So, you know, I started to think, okay, I need more adversity in my life. Maybe I should put myself out there a little bit more. And I feel comfortable in saying that I am the most punctual Arab you'll ever meet. I don't know if you guys know this. We actually have our own time zone. It's called Arab Standard Time. Are you familiar with this? Yeah? So it's like 2 hours later than black people, 1 hour later than Latino people. It's like very, very fucking late. Yeah. So we have that, and I decided to start dating a chick who was lovely but very much ran on Arab Standard Time. And I thought this was good. It's like little paper cuts every day. You know what I mean? Like death by 1,000 cuts. It'll make you harder. It'll make you stronger. Until one day, she showed up, you know, an hour and a half late to my Valentine's Day dinner that I had planned for us. And I snapped at her. I told her, this is it. We can't be together anymore. And she said, Phil, you're too stressed out. You need to talk to someone. I need you to go to therapy. And that's when I knew I had made the right decision, because I'm trying to find the trauma, and she's trying to send me to therapy. It makes no sense. You know what I mean? What? Anyway. Again, on the dating front, I went on a date with this girl, and I was semi-into her, let's say. She started giving me a rundown of her life. And then I realized there was like a 4-year gap that was missing, so I'm like, yo, what happened between the ages of 19 and 23? She's like, well, I don't know if it's first date material, but in the spirit of transparency, I'll tell you. I was a heroin addict. That's when I got really fucking turned on. Because I was like, okay. Maybe through some sort of reverse osmosis, I can absorb some of this trauma and like level myself up. Maybe if I sleep with her, I can catch an STT, sexually transmitted trauma. So I called her up and I was like, yo, you want to go on this second date? She said no. She said, I don't want to go on the second date. I think I should be with someone who's a little bit more down to earth. And I thought that was extremely ironic coming from someone who had been high for the last 4 years. But it's okay. Anyway, so, talking about relationships, I've developed a new relationship recently. It's with the ads on YouTube. I don't know if you guys are familiar with these ads. But essentially, it starts like every other relationship. Sometimes you get infatuated. And I remember the first time I heard her. And man, I could hear her voice in my sleep. I'd close my eyes and I'd see her. It's like, liberty, 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 liberty. No, I'm just joking. She sucked. But it's true, the relationship started off quite generic. Like the ads you get are quite generic. Like I would get ads for helping child poverty, trying to get plastic out of the ocean, voting in the upcoming election. Essentially, a whole bunch of shit that I don't care about. Noble causes, important causes, totally irrelevant to me. And like most relationships, you kind of just gotta sit there and listen to a whole bunch of bullshit at the beginning, and then hope you land on the same page eventually. And we did land on the same page because eventually she started to get to know me a little bit better. The YouTube, she found out what my kinks and my interests were, and I started getting ads for like luxury watches, country club memberships. I was like, this is pretty fucking cool. But sharing surface level interests is one thing. I think we can all agree that the relationship goes to the next level when you feel seen by the other person. You know what I mean? And so I'll give you an example. One day, I was doing some meal prep. I ran out of Ziploc bags. A couple minutes later, get an ad for Ziploc bags. And I'm like, wow, she's incredible. This is amazing. How did she know? This is super amazing. And I'm like, wait, hold on. How the fuck did she know? How the fuck did she know that that I ran out of Ziploc bags? Because I definitely didn't say anything. And that's where it's like, okay, is this creepy? Or should I just be grateful for the inconvenience? Like, am I being seen or am I being watched? I'm like, what's the line, But to be fair, like, I'm typically the guy that comes to the first date having done way too much research, I'll be like, hey, that 2019 trip with your sorority sisters to Bali looked really cool. Did you do all the Gili Islands or did you just do Gili Tea? She looks at me like, you almost always get two reactions. It's either like, wow, Phil, he's so considerate. He's so detail-oriented. The other one's like, wow, Phil, that guy's a fucking stalker. Get the fuck away from him. Anyway. So, I feel like relationships are pretty amazing. You can learn a lot in a relationship. Oftentimes, the person you're with can teach you stuff because they know more about you than you know about yourself. I'll give you guys an example. I got an ad the other day and it was like, depression can be a real tough thing. At BetterHelp, you don't need to go through it alone. I was like, wow, that's really grim. Are there really people out there like having to do therapy online like this? Must be some sort of a mistake. And then a few minutes later, I get another ad, and it's like, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at begin to change. Try BetterHelp. I was like, oh my God, she's prescribing therapy to me. As you guys might remember, this is not the first partner of mine to prescribe therapy to me. I didn't like where this was going. I then started getting ads for True Classic. I don't know if you guys have heard of True Classic, but it's a men's apparel company, and they're basically engineered to enhance the male physique. So it's like tight around the chest, arms, and shoulders, but loose around the front. So it's like anti-dad bod, and it's stylish kind of thing. I didn't know how to take that, I felt a little judged. I was like, is this an indictment on my physique or an indictment on how I dress? Should I hit Nordstrom rack or the gym rack? Like, I'm not sure. But then I thought about it a little bit and I was like, let's be honest, Phil, the way you dress is pretty fucking fire. So it's got to be the gym. I didn't like this. I felt like things were moving too quickly. She was trying to mold me into the man that she wanted me to be. We hadn't even had sex yet. So I decided I needed to take a little bit of space. And then one day, man, I got an ad and it was like, dealing with hair loss used to be tough. With Hims, it's easy. And I ran to the bathroom. And I went to the mirror and I started checking my hair. 37-point check. Everything was in place. Must be some sort of a bug. Must be some sort of issue with the algorithm. It's true that I've been spending a ton of time with Carl and his buddies. They're all bald. And then I got another app. It was like, are you having trouble with erectile dysfunction? Experience love at first bite with Hims hard mints. And that's when I knew this whole thing was fugazi. I was like, look, my shit is not the biggest, but it definitely fucking works, alright? This is some bullshit. Man. Anyway, can we talk about Hims for 1 second? Have you guys heard about Hims? Hims, basically, they sell some great products. They sell erectile dysfunction pills, which cause suicidal thoughts. But then they sell antidepressants, which cause baldness. And then, you got it, they'll sell you baldness pills, which give you ED. So it's like a real beautiful circle of death. By the end of the year, the whole male population is going to be walking around like a bunch of Jeff Bezos and just fucking bald, sad, and no working dick. It's going to be tough. Anyway, I've digressed massively. I did a little bit of analysis on the relationship with the YouTube ads, and I figured, you know, at the beginning it was convenient and helpful, and then she started challenging me a little bit, and then by the end she was like fully bullying me. So I decided I need to take care of my mental health first, and so I did decide to sign up for YouTube Premium, which is their service without ads. Kick that bitch out of my life. Oh man, it's crazy because this whole journey started with an ad. I was at work one day and not too dissimilar to what just happened now, the last 15 minutes, but I got like, are your jokes followed by the deafening sound of silence? Sign up to one of Carl Wilson's classes. PortlandComedySports.com. Alright, that's it for me. Thank you guys.
Philippe Quebec, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God. The first class, he was so funny, showing his ass and everything. It was... Keep it going for Philippe. Very funny stuff. Since I am the only gay person on the show, happy Pride Month. Thank you. Yeah, even they have gay Republicans who march in the parade, which I can't figure out. Right? How could you? They used to call themselves log cabin Republicans. Now it's LGBTQAnon. It's kind of like, are you ready for Calvin? Well, this guy, I don't know how to describe Calvin. He actually writes sets on the way over to class in his car. And they're like always hysterical. The first class, he ran up and showed his ass, and I said, no, that's Philippe's bit. Are you texting? Is there a fuckboy on the...
No, I was gonna record.
You're gonna record? Calvin?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Good. One more hand for everybody before Calvin comes up. Nah. And Edrice. And Philippe. The man himself, Calvin Jennings, ladies and gentlemen. Bring him up. Calvin!
It was an awkward handshake. Pride Month, baby. Carl forgets how old he is. Pride Month was actually last month. Not important. No. That's fair. That's fair. As a member, a proud HIMSS member, I feel personally attacked by Phil, but that's okay. I've short-circuited the system. I just take all three at once. So, I don't have any of the side effects. I have all of the side effects, so it's perfect. So, I was doing a lot of self-reflection this weekend. That's Portland slang for doing mushrooms. Self-reflection is important. Helps you realize I want to grow as a person. That's always kind of been my dream, is to grow. Be careful what you wish for. But I want to be a bigger person. Not really physically, at least that's not my doctor's advice, doesn't want me to be physically a bigger person, but spiritually, mentally. That's not going to happen either. It's tough when you're realizing things about yourself. I realized I actually peaked, not in my 30s, I'm not in my 40s, not in my 20s, not in high school. My best work was probably in elementary school. It's tough to realize every day since you were 8 is progressively worse and worse and worse. But we're in 2024. We're all kind of in that boat together. Every day is worse and worse and worse. I had a lot of Trump jokes actually lined up for the set, and I had to scrap them due to the tragedy of yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yesterday. Seems like a lot has happened even since yesterday. That's 2024. It's just a lot just keeps happening. It all just keeps piling on. So I've realized something about myself. Long pauses are important to show people that you're really thinking about what you're talking about. I figured out my pronouns recently. I now identify as they, them. Mostly because I'm as big as a couple of people. I recently went to the doctor and I got some good news. I actually didn't find out that I was overweight, which was surprising news for me. There's a scale about what your height is, what your weight should be. I just went the opposite way, so I found out what my weight was. So I'm just a little short. I'm not overweight, I just am supposed to be 13'8", so. It's important self-realization, you're supposed to realize these things. There's a lot of benefits to being a big guy. As Carl alluded to, I'm jolly all the time. I'm just a happy-go-lucky dude. I save a fortune on psych meds. Fortunately, I spend them on ding-dongs and hoo-hoos. Hoo-hoo candy? I don't know. Feels like a candy. I think the more phallic you can call your candy, the better it sells. I don't know what it says about me, but that's the kind of candy I buy. Edrice had a great point. I think there's a lot of things on the spectrum. I think kind of everything's on the spectrum. Love is on the spectrum. Sexuality is on the spectrum. But you're kind of forced into what you are, right? It's hard to change that. If you're a straight guy, you're a straight guy. If you're someone who's gay, you're gay. You don't really get to pick and choose on this where you are on the spectrum. You just gotta deal with the hand that you're dealt. I'm a straight guy. Don't everyone applaud all at once, Portland. It's just me and Phil left. Sucks, he's a lot better looking than me. Oh, and Edrice. It's actually, when I got notified who I'd be doing the show with, I was actually pretty worried because all three of them were very good looking. So it puts a lot of pressure on me as the ugliest guy to be the funniest. That's our domain. Every laugh one of these attractive motherfuckers get stabs me in the heart inside. That could have also just been too many ding-dongs and hoo-hoos. Still not sure hoo-hoo is a thing. I've been in Carl's class now 3 times. Carl's a brilliant teacher. What won me over was he pledged every single student is guaranteed to get laid. Money back guarantee is great. I'm going to send you an invoice, Carl. It's tough. Dating me is a lot like eating leftover hamburger helper in your fridge. You're not going to brag about it to anyone. Might be some questionable meat in there. It's not really a sustainable diet, but it is filling. I was talking about my dick. No, the class has helped. I was recently going to an open mic, and I got my first. Some people staring at me from outside. That's awesome. Just a dude was just out there just. I was looking for a gun, but we're good. I'm not near orange enough to be shot at. Oh, too soon. We're not doing that. I will say, if any president or former president had to have been shot in the head, probably the safest bet is Trump. The least likely to be affected by being shot in the head. Donald J. Trump. We're not doing those type of jokes here, though. I worked on an impression all week to give y'all. Luckily, it was really bad, so I was actually kind of relieved when someone took a shot at the former president, because I didn't have to do my Trump impersonation anymore, because it was bad. You shouldn't feel relieved when a potentially public servant is getting a shot at. Actually, I was feeling a little jealous, just because every single day I want to die. Not out of depression or wrong thoughts, mostly due to minor inconveniences. Like, I know we've all been in rush hour traffic on I-5 or 205. If I had the option to self-delete, I would be hitting that button every single time. When I get home, everything's fine. Ding-dongs and hoo-hoos at home. It's tough. As a single man in Portland, trying to attract that mate is difficult. One of those routes is trying to make more money. I make a pretty good living. I'm making the low 6 figures. Sounds awesome. That's actually Portland slang for poor. I am happy to say I'm upgrading to a brand new TED from NA, so I'm pretty excited. Big enough to fit 2 people in this tent. And her ex-boyfriend had a sweet overpass that he's gonna allow me to share, so that's pretty rad. Appreciate the hookup now. So I have to work on other things to make me better. That includes dieting. I'm trying to diet. I've recently lost 60 pounds. People love to know, how did you lose the weight? I know it wasn't the ding-dongs and hoo-hoos. I have a side bet to see how many times I can say ding-dongs and hoo-hoos in my set. I'm winning. Unfortunately, with winning, I totally forgot what I was talking about. Ding-dongs, hoo-hoos.
60 pounds.
60 pounds! People ask me how I lost the weight. What's your diet? Vegetarian? No, you can still eat ding-dongs and french fries and be a vegetarian. Was it the carnivore diet? I know you'd be surprised by looking at me. I actually don't like beef. The only beef I like is like rap battles. Like I've been obsessed with Kendrick Lamar and Drake songs. Way more than a 40-year-old white dude should be invested in some rap battle beef. I work at senior living. I've had to physically break up fights between grandmas. It makes you not appreciate beef as much when you're trying to separate a lady in a walker from a lady in a scooter all over the table placement setting. It's crazy. Working in senior living is a lot like going to a gender reveal party. No one really wants to go, but we all pretend we're happy to be there. We all pretty much know the outcome, but we all pretend like, oh yeah, everything's gonna be fine. It's not gonna be fine. There's always diapers involved. But no, it wasn't the carnivore diet. They asked, well, maybe it was something a little more popular, vegan diet. I'm an asshole, but I'm not a big enough asshole to be a vegan. So, no. The real answer, the easiest way to lose 60 pounds, just get drunk at Legoland while you're watching your little nephew. I'll miss that little guy. It counts. It was 60 pounds. It counts. I feel like I had to walk you through that one a little bit. I'm saying I lost my little nephew at Legoland because I was irresponsibly day drinking. I quickly built a new little Lego man to try to trick my sister. Did not work. I'm surprised she came to my show. I think secretly she was relieved that, parenting is hard is what I'm trying to say. You never want to be responsible for losing your child, but if that child gets lost, you get instant street cred and none of the pressure of now raising a small child. Dark. You guys shouldn't laugh at that. So I'm worried about losing weight, not for any particular reason other than that a pretty girl just smiled at me as she walked by, I swear to God. I'm loving having this door open at this club. It should be open all the time. I don't have ADHD, ADD. I don't have any of that stuff. Well, never diagnosed with any of it, at least. Oh, man, when a pretty girl smiles at you, it just fucks up your whole world. Fuck, what was I talking about before that girl walked by?
Losing weight.
Losing weight, no, it wasn't the, skinny. Parenting. Overrated, fuck that. I'm worried about losing weight because skinny people are creepy as fuck. I know that's a controversial take, that skinny people are creepy. But let me give you an example. I don't know how many of you remember Jared from the Subway ads. Fucking big fat dude, living his life, enjoying 6 foot and 6 inches, footlongs. He's now in jail as a pedophile after he lost all that weight. Still taking 6 inches of footlongs, but I don't think he's enjoying it as much. It's dark, guys. You shouldn't laugh at that. That's dark. I think why I worry about skinny people is pedophilia, right? Jared became a pedophile. I think my theory is kids are fast. They're running around all over the place. Pedophilia is a skinny person's game. I'm not saying all skinny people are pedophiles. That's crazy. But definitely all pedophiles are skinny. Like, I'm not gonna chase down a little kid. If I try to outsmart him, get a creepy white van, free candy, I'm gonna eat all the candy before school even gets out. There's no ding-dongs or hoo-hoos left. Another downside of losing the weight is I'm gonna have a lot of loose skin. I'm a big dude. I get my ideal weight, I'm just gonna have some flapping going on, flapping it up. Once you get skinny, you start doing skinny people shit. I'm gonna go hiking, right? To go hiking. I actually consider it a superpower because if I come across a bear, I can flap up big. Bears are scared. Flap up big. That fails, I can just jump off the mountain, glide to safety. Like a sugar glider. Maybe a stevia glider. I think milestones are important to remember on your journey to becoming a better person. Like, I think one of my most memorable first milestones, I remember finally rescuing the princess as a Mario bro. So fucking awesome. Who's rescued the princess? Not enough of you. You guys are outside too much, Portland. But tell me valuable lessons. Persistence pays off. Eating mushrooms make you better. I've had other milestones though. It's important to reflect on those milestones. One of the ones I'm most proud of is probably my first threesome. Yeah! I say first because it sounds better than only. When you get in a threesome, it's a lot like the first time I played football. I was so excited to get in there and get some skin in the game. Didn't really know what I was doing, but I was excited to be there. Put a helmet on, safety's important. Didn't really know what I was doing. Left the game sweaty. I had a big smile on my face. The other team was pretty disappointed. Both ways, my dad was still disappointed, so that was tough. As a millennial, older millennial, as a poor Portlander, I don't own my own home. I wish I could. I secretly pray for the financial downfall of America every day so I could finally afford a home. It's not healthy, but I have a dream. And Phil's tired of me digging around his trash cans. And honestly, I'd still be living with my parents if my mom wasn't dead and my dad didn't hate me. The hardest person to laugh at that was my sister. That's how you know that shit was true. It's important to self-reflect. I mean, my dad's a boomer. Who gives a fuck, right? Ooh, bro, boomer crowd. That's a curveball. Wasn't expecting that, Portland. I'm trying to be a better person. I'm trying to grow as a person. I'm trying to employ the skills that Carl has taught me. I got a drink bought for me at a bar. I feel like I'm a Z-grade celebrity. I told a joke where I compared myself to Ryan Gosling. I look like Ryan Gosling. They got stung by all the bees. That was good enough joke for a dude at the bar to buy me a drink. Sucks it was a dude, but sexuality's on the spectrum. If I could choose, I would choose to be gay. Straight up gay dudes have it all figured out. They got better abs. They dress better. They got cooler slang. Like, if I was a gay dude, as a chubby, kind of hairy dude, I'd be called a bear. A fucking bear? Do you know how cute that is? Fuck. As a straight, chubby kind of hairy dude. You know what they call me? An incel. Fuck! That does not go well on your dating profile. Trying to make more money though. That's why I've actually created my own dating app. People are lonely. I'm trying to take advantage of people's loneliness like a true American. And only Carl laughed at that. That was good. So my app is, there's Tinder and Grindr and JDate and Christians Mingle. You can get very specific with it. So the idea is to go to a very undeveloped, underutilized segment of the market. So my app is called Meet Me. It's a very cute app. It's for people that are into bestiality to find their local sheep or cow. Not a lot of laughs on that joke, Carl. You really let me down on that one. I will say I spelled meat with M-E-A-T, so I thought that was pretty clever. I have not made a whole lot of money off of it. I was going to call it Farmers Only, but that was already taken. That joke crushes in Tillamook. I don't know what you guys are doing. It's a 4-to-1 cow to human ratio out there in Tillamook. Fucking, that's my prime demographics out there for maybe. I gotta be better. I gotta actually lose the weight and not just find a way to stretch to 13'8". So my doctor finally, he's like, all right, this is our last ditch. He's like, I gotta convince you to lose the weight. He informed me for every 30 pounds I lose, I actually gain an inch of penis. I don't know if any of you guys are mathematicians, but I'm about to have an 11-foot dick, y'all! And then maybe my dad will be proud of me. That's my time.
Calvin Jennings, ladies and gentlemen. Send the fan mail to hoohoo.com and
Just skip the process. Send me who's.
send him hoo-hoos, ladies and gentlemen. I guess so. Is hoo-hoo a thing?
I don't know. It sounds like a thing.
It's a ho-ho.
It's
I play football, concussions. It's a thing.
hoo-hoos for ho-hos, I think would.
That felt very close to a slur.
I know, that's why I came at the end of the fucking show. We came at an inch from really making America great again. Save that for last. A Secret Service at the door. So.
This is being streamed.
Oh, good.
Hashtag cancel tomorrow.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm already on the list. Been on the list for 4 fucking decades. Come get me. All right. Have a hand for everybody on the show tonight. Now what, ladies and gentlemen? Come on up on stage. Malvin, Edrice, go ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Philippe, Calvin Jennings, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. This is actually, I think, their first professional show, because they'll actually get paid tonight. In our currency, CSC hoo-hoos they get. So, also we have every second Sunday of the month, and Catherine Cushing and Bill DeStefano will be on next, along with my good friend Art Krug, who headlined the show, been doing comedy for 40 years. Art's wonderful. And if you're interested in doing comedy and learning about comedy through this class, it's portlandcomedy.com, right, Patrick?
Correct.
portlandcomedy.com. Edrice has been trying to get his friend Phil to sign up for the
Sign up, Phil! Sign up, Phil!
Right.
Sign up, Phil! Sign up, Phil!
Yeah, okay.
No pressure. pressure though. No
This is the point where shots rang out, so I'm afraid. You start chanting something, and all of a sudden, all right. So we're in that zone now. We'll go back and tell those jokes in the green room. But thank you all for coming. I really appreciate you coming out on a Sunday night in hot Portland. One more time for everybody to show us. Hopefully we'll see you next month. Thanks so much. Good job, everybody.
Actually, I had to